The story begins on the harsh and storm-beaten island of Berk, a place where generation after generation of Vikings has endured brutal conditions. But Berk has a unique problem: dragons. According to Hiccup, our narrator, it's not luck but a curse. They live side by side with fire-breathing monsters. Most people would have abandoned such a place, but not these people. They're Vikings, and Vikings don't run from a fight, they charge into it. Dragons have raided Berk for as long as anyone can remember, and in return, the Vikings have become expert dragon slayers. It's a brutal but effective system, until now. Enter Stoic the Vast, Berk's mighty chief and Hiccup's father. A living legend, Stoic once supposedly decapitated a dragon as a baby. He's not just large, he's the fiercest warrior alive, except against one, the Night Fury, a shadowy dragon so deadly no one has seen it and lived. As another dragon raid begins, Stoic commands his people like a general at war. He warns them, if anyone sees the Night Fury, they must sound the alarm. Amid the chaos, we meet Gobber, the gruff weapons master who's trained Hiccup since he was small, and the teenage dragon fighting trainees, gutsy, rowdy, and led by the fierce and focused Astrid. Hiccup, eager to prove himself, dreams of taking down a dragon, hoping to finally earn his father's respect, and maybe catch Astrid's eye. But Stoic is blunt. Hiccup can't lift a hammer, let alone kill a dragon. If he wants to be someone, he needs to stop being himself. Crushed but determined, Hiccup sets his sights on the unthinkable. He's going to find and slay the Night Fury. Disobeying orders, he sneaks into the battle with a contraption of his own design, and somehow, he does it. He shoots the Night Fury out of the sky. But before he can celebrate, another massive dragon appears. Hiccup barely escapes with his life. Stoic spots him and leaps into action, battling the beast and saving his son in the nick of time. After the raid, Hiccup tries to tell his father he shot the Night Fury, but Stoic doesn't believe him. Furious, he scolds Hiccup for always disobeying and warns him, this is survival, not a game. Still, Hiccup is sure of what he saw. The Night Fury blocks out the stars when it flies. The village murmurs, why do the dragons keep returning? Stoic rallies them. We're close to the nest, he says. He vows to find it before the ice sets in and begins preparing ships for the expedition. Meanwhile, Stoic decides to personally train the recruits but confides in Gobber. He's worried about Hiccup. Gobber tells him the kid just wants to make him proud. Stoic isn't convinced. He doesn't think Hiccup knows who he is. Gobber warns him, you won't stop him, so train him. The day's coming when no one can protect him. Maybe it already has. That day, Hiccup sneaks into the forest, following a trail of scorched earth. And there, in a forest clearing, he finds the Night Fury, alive and unconscious. Heart-pounding, Hiccup pulls out his knife, ready to kill it. But when the dragon opens its eyes, calm and accepting, something inside him shifts. He can't do it. He frees the dragon instead. The Night Fury lunges in fury but doesn't attack. As it flies off, Hiccup realizes, it's injured. It can't fly properly. That night, he tells his father he doesn't want to kill dragons. Stoic is furious. They argue, both realizing they're chasing different paths. But Stoic ends it with, real Vikings are forged in fire. And your trial begins now. Training begins. Gobber announces, the top student will earn the honor of killing a dragon in front of the whole village. Astrid dominates the field. Hiccup fumbles. The others mock him. But soon, things start to change. Back in the forest, Hiccup finds the Night Fury again. He brings fish. To show peace, he tosses away his knife. The dragon, Toothless. Hiccup names him, accepts the food, and even offers some back. Slowly, a friendship forms. They draw together in the dirt. Toothless lets Hiccup touch him. A bond is born. Hiccup studies Toothless and discovers why he can't fly. A missing tail fin. So Hiccup builds a new one. With the rig attached, Toothless takes off. With Hiccup riding, it's exhilarating. He begins secretly documenting everything in his notebook. Back in training, Hiccup applies what he's learned. He tames dragons without violence. He uses their weaknesses, like sneezing at dandelions, to outsmart them. He starts winning challenges. Gobber is impressed. Even Astrid is curious, though suspicious, but Hiccup still wrestles with the question, why didn't Toothless kill him? Meanwhile, the other teens believe he's cheating. He's rising fast. The old wise woman Gothi watches him closely but says nothing. One night, Hiccup learns something ridiculous. Dragons fall asleep when tickled. He tests it during training and wins again. He begins to feel at home with dragons, something no Viking has ever done. But Stoic and his men return from sea with bad news. They never found the nest. Back in Berk, Hiccup is now something of a legend. Villagers admire him. He flies with Toothless through the skies, free and fearless. During one ride, he drops his notebook and nearly falls. Toothless saves him. Afterward, Hiccup looks at his notes, then tosses the book away. From now on, he'll trust his instincts. That night, Stoic surprises Hiccup. He says he knows his secret. Hiccup freezes, fearing he means Toothless, but Stoic is actually talking about his son's skill and training. Beaming with pride, he says he finally sees Hiccup as a warrior, worthy of the Viking legacy. As a symbol, he gives him a helmet forged from his late wife's breastplate, so he'll always carry her with him. Hiccup, deeply moved, thanks him with real emotion. The next day, training resumes. Astrid warns Hiccup, "No tricks, I'm still the best hunter here." With Stoic watching from a distance, Hiccup dons his new helmet and outsmarts her, winning again. Gothi, the village elder, quietly declares him the new supreme dragon hunter. Later, while visiting Toothless, Hiccup realizes Astrid has followed him. Before he can explain, Toothless growls protectively. Astrid is stunned. She runs, but Hiccup and Toothless swoop in, grabbing her mid-sprint and flying her to the top of a cliff. Astrid is furious, but Hiccup begs her to see the truth. As soon as she climbs onto Toothless, the dragon goes wild. But when she touches him, everything softens. They soar peacefully above the clouds. Astrid is amazed. Still, she reminds Hiccup, "Tomorrow, you're expected to kill a dragon." That ride doesn't change what they've done. Just then, they spot something unbelievable. Dozens of dragons carrying food into a volcano. It's not just a nest. It's a hive. The dragons are feeding something massive. A queen. Shocked, Astrid agrees to help. Before they leave, she punches Hiccup for kidnapping her, but also kisses his cheek for everything else. The next morning, Stoic proudly announces Hiccup as the new supreme dragon hunter. The crowd erupts. Astrid, by his side, tells him, "I'm with you. It's time." Inside the arena, the gate opens, revealing the village's fiercest beast. Hiccup doesn't fight. He drops his weapons and says, "I won't hurt it." Stoic shouts to stop the match, but it's too late. The dragon attacks. From far off, Toothless hears Hiccup's cries and races in. The crowd is stunned, but instead of cheering, they surround Toothless. Stoic orders him locked up. Hiccup pleads, "Please let him go." But Stoic, enraged, says dragons killed his wife, and if she saw her son now, helping one, she'd be ashamed. Hiccup insists they don't choose to attack, they're being controlled by something in that hive. Stoic, cold. "You're not a Viking, and you're not my son." Despite his words, Stoic uses Toothless, chaining him to a ship as a guide to the nest. Hiccup, broken, sits alone. Astrid finds him. He confesses he only wanted to protect the village, and maybe he should have killed Toothless that first day. But Astrid says no. Anyone else would have. But you didn't. You were the first to understand them. And maybe the only one who can save us. Hiccup decides to act. Astrid helps rally the fire squad. Meanwhile, Stoic and his warriors reach the volcano. They strike its rocky walls, and panic erupts. The dragons scatter. The water churns. And then it rises. The Alpha, a monstrous, fire-breathing beast. It torches their ships with one blast. Gobber and Stoic stay back to buy time for the others. Just as Stoic is about to fall, Hiccup arrives, riding Toothless, leading the fire squad, each on a dragon. Stoic is stunned. Hiccup dives to free Toothless, who's still chained. As he cuts the ropes, the boat explodes. Toothless crashes into the sea. Hiccup dives in after him but starts to drown. Stoic jumps in, pulls Hiccup out, then dives again, this time for Toothless. He frees the dragon, who rockets out of the water with Stoic in his claws. Hiccup mounts up. Before they take off, Stoic turns to his son. "Everything I did was to protect you." Hiccup looks at him. And then, the words Hiccup always longed to hear. "No matter what happens, I'm proud to call you my son." Meanwhile, Astrid's dragon is caught in the Alpha's jaws. Hiccup and Toothless race to save her. From below, the villagers watch in awe as an epic aerial battle unfolds. Hiccup and Toothless climb high above the clouds. Then, with precision, they strike, crippling the Alpha's wings. But mid-fight, Toothless's artificial tail catches fire. He keeps going anyway, pushing through. In a final, desperate strike, they bring the Alpha down. But in the chaos, Hiccup falls. Toothless, his tail ruined, can't fly, but he dives anyway. He vanishes after his rider. Silence. Stoic searches the smoke. All he finds is Toothless, badly burned, barely breathing. The villagers gather in stunned silence. Astrid arrives. She puts her hand on Stoic's shoulder and quietly breaks down in tears. But then, Toothless slowly spreads his wings, revealing Hiccup, safe beneath him. The dragon had shielded him with his own body. The crowd erupts with joy. Vikings and dragons standing together. Later, we see Hiccup waking up beside Toothless. It turns out he lost a foot during the battle. Gobber built him a prosthetic. The whole village is out celebrating. Humans and dragons, finally living in peace. Stoic walks up, gives his son a proud hug, and says, "Flying back home, that was something else. Had to ride a dragon." Then Astrid shows up, gives Hiccup a playful punch for scaring her, then kisses him hard for everything else. Stoic smiles and adds, "Guess what we really needed around here was a little more Hiccup." Gobber jumps in, "Hey, I made the new foot, thank you very much. And I rebuilt Toothless's tail, using Hiccup's own blueprints, mind you." And with that, Hiccup and Toothless take to the skies, soaring above Berk together. And that's the end of the story. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you on the next video.